Okay, so let's just dive right in. We have all seen it, right? That incredibly powerful, super alluring promise of the online business. The dream of freedom, making an impact, and designing a life that's actually on your terms. It's a really compelling vision, and honestly, for a lot of good reasons.
But here's the question that really got me thinking, and it's at the heart of what we're talking about today. What if there's more to it? What if the story we're all being sold is missing some of the most important chapters? That's what we're going to unpack.
So, first things first, let's just acknowledge the dream itself. The reason so many of us are drawn to online entrepreneurship is because, well, the promises it makes tap into some of our deepest desires for what a life and a career could be. And this dream, it usually gets broken down into these four big promises. You've got the financial freedom, the escape from the 9 to 5 grind, your promised autonomy, being your own boss and making a real impact. And it's all presented like this clear, straight line. Just build something one time, and then you can scale it to the moon. I mean, it's an almost irresistible offer, isn't it?
So, how is this dream sold so effectively? Let's pull back the curtain for a minute and really look at the psychology, the hidden machinery that's often powering this whole marketing engine.
Okay, tactic number one, the promise of a perfect, foolproof, step-by-step system. The marketing is smart. It sees your internal struggles, your self-doubt, your confusion, maybe your fear, and it says, hey, I have the answer. It presents this external system as the one and only solution. And this right here is the core message. It's so reassuring, isn't it? The problem isn't you. You're creative, you're talented. You just don't have the right framework yet. In one sentence, it shifts all the pressure from that messy internal work to a clean, simple external fix you can just buy. Which leads us to a really crucial question. When we buy into a proven system, are we actually getting a solution to our business problem? Or are we mostly just buying immediate psychological relief from the anxiety of not knowing what to do next? It's something to think about.
All right, next up, manufacturing trust. Most people are naturally a little skeptical of new ways to make money, especially when they feel kind of intangible compared to a good old-fashioned paycheck. So how do marketers get past that skepticism?
Will they manufacture it? As this quote points out so well, it's not about building deep, real, long-term relationships. No, it's about using these carefully selected, curated proof elements, testimonials, case studies, and of course, those famous revenue screenshots to make an unfamiliar path feel safe and totally achievable and to do it fast.
And this makes you wonder, doesn't it? When we start to rely on this curated proof instead of genuine human connection, what's the trade-off? What's the real cost of taking that shortcut to trust? And the final tactic we're going to look at is this idea of selling a sense of belonging. Let's be real. Being an entrepreneur can be a lonely road, and marketers are brilliant at leveraging this deep human need we all have for community and for identity. This is where masterminds and online communities come in. They start to offer you more than just information. They offer you an identity. You get the badge, you're in the group, and suddenly being successful and belonging get all tangled up together. And as the source notes, this outward show of belonging can sometimes become a stand-in for doing the real, substantive inner work. So it forces us to ask a really pointed question. Are you joining a community to buy into a brand, or are you there to actually build authentic bonds with other people? It's a critical distinction. Okay, so after taking apart that old playbook, it's time to talk about an alternative. Let's pivot now and look at a more constructive, a more conscious path forward. So, what in the world is a conscious business? Well, here's the definition we're working with. It's about being driven by a purpose and operating with a real awareness of your total impact, not just on your profit margin, but on people, on communities, on the planet, the whole shebang. So, what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it means having a purpose that's bigger than just making money. It's about caring for all your stakeholders, your employees, your customers, your community, not just your shareholders. It's guided by self-aware leadership, ethical practices, and a culture where it's safe to be open and honest. Now, here's the key. This isn't about just throwing away everything from the old model. The real magic, the real transformation, happens in the integration. It's about uniting the powerful structures of digital marketing with the deep awareness of a conscious business.
And this right here, this is the fundamental difference. One approach uses psychology to find little triggers to get a conversion, to make a sale. The other approach uses that exact same psychological insight to help both the customer and the entrepreneur grow and become more whole. It's a profound shift in why you're doing what you're doing.
Now, this table, this is really the heart of it all, so let's just walk through it. On one hand, the ego-based approach wants certainty and systems to get rid of fear. But the conscious approach says, hold on, let's prioritize awareness and ethics first. And the unified perspective, structure without awareness is just manipulation. Then you've got success. The ego approach says it's all about revenue and scale. The conscious approach says it's about regenerative impact. The unified view, revenue is great, it's fuel for growth, but awareness makes sure that growth actually serves everyone. And finally, the ego model tries to override your inner conflict with a quick fix, while the conscious model leans into that conflict, seeing it as data for growth.
And if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. Structure without awareness, well, that can easily slide into manipulation. But on the flip side, awareness without any structure just becomes inefficient and ineffective. The goal, the real sweet spot, is to bring them together so you have a business that is both powerful and principled. And so we land here with a final question for you to take with you. As you're out there building and growing your thing, are you just focused on scaling a system for profit? Or is your deeper goal to actually scale consciousness in yourself, in your customers, and maybe even in the world? That right there is the deeper story.